Adoni, why so afraid of mirrors? There is nothing to see, Bimpai.
In a quiet village near Ibadan, there lived a girl named Adeni. Everyone admired her for her gentle nature, her kind heart, and the way she seemed to see beauty in everything. But there was one thing strange about her: she never looked at mirrors. Not at home, not by the river, not even when the festival drums echoed through the village, people whispered. "Why does she avoid mirrors?" they asked. Some said she was proud. Some said she was cursed. But the truth, only her mother, Mami Yotunde, knew. As a child, Adeni loved to play barefoot on the dusty paths, chase chickens, and splash in the shallow river near the village. Yet mirrors made her uneasy. Sometimes she would glance at her reflection in a small puddle and feel a strange chill. It was as if the water itself was warning her to look away. One evening, her friend Bimpe teased her. "Adeni, why are you so afraid of mirrors? I bet you're hiding a secret." Adeni laughed nervously. "There is nothing to see, Bimpe," but even as she spoke, her mother's warning echoed in her heart. When Adeni was 7, her mother had taken her aside. They were sitting by the fire, the wind rustling the palm trees outside. "My child," Mami Yetunde said softly, "there is something you must understand. Our family carries a gift and a responsibility. Many generations ago, one of our ancestors angered the spirits of the river. Since that day, the women in our family carry a mark, hidden from the world. It is not seen by the eye, except in a mirror." Adoni's eyes widened. "What? What do you mean?" "You would see things no one else should. Secrets. Past sins. The true nature of people around you. If you look too long, it can overwhelm you. You could see things you are not ready for, and once seen, they cannot be unseen." Adeni shivered. She promised, but curiosity lingered. Years passed. Adeni grew into a thoughtful, responsible young woman. Her mother's warning kept her cautious. Mirrors were avoided, but one day, Bimpe found an old mirror in her grandmother's house. She dragged Adeni to it, laughing. "Just look once. It's harmless." Adeni hesitated. Her heart raced. She remembered her mother's words. I can't, Bimpe," but curiosity gnawed at her. Slowly, almost reluctantly, she lifted her eyes to the mirror, and what she saw made her gasp. It was herself, but not entirely. The mirror showed faint images behind her reflection, faces of people she knew, moments she had never witnessed, hidden emotions, secrets buried in the village. She saw lies she had not known, fears whispered in the dark, truths that had been hidden for generations. And then, she saw her mother, younger, standing in that same mirror, holding a secret Adeni had never known. That night, she did not confront her mother in anger. She confronted her in understanding. "Mama," Adeni said quietly, "you didn't hide the truth because it was dangerous. You hid it because you were afraid of what I might become if I knew." Mami Yetunde froze. "You saw it," her mother whispered. "Yes," Adeni replied. "And now I know why you've always looked at people the way you do, like you're carrying too much." Tears slid down Mami Yetunde's face. The mirror shows the world without its mask. Once you see it, innocence dies. I wanted you to live softly." Adeni stepped closer. From that day, Adeni changed, not in kindness, but in clarity. She no longer trusted blindly. She no longer poured herself into people who carried poison behind smiles. When elders spoke, she listened beyond their words. When friends laughed, she noticed what their eyes refused to say. Many years later, after Adeni had grown into a woman the village both respected and feared, Mami Yetunde fell ill. Her voice grew weak, her breath shallow, and the fire in her eyes dimmed. On her last night, she called Adeni close. "There is one truth that I never told you." Her mother whispered. Adeni leaned in. "I am listening, Mama." Mami Yetunde's lips quivered. "The mirror does not reveal other people." Adeni stiffened. "It reveals who belongs to it." The room went cold. Our ancestor did not anger the river spirits, her mother continued. She bargained with them. She asked for protection, power, sight beyond sight. The price was bloodline. Adeni's chest tightened. What does that mean? Mami Yetunde's eyes filled with tears. Each generation, one daughter is born. Not to use the mirror, but to replace what was taken. Replace what? Adeni asked. The Watcher. Her mother answered, Mami Yetunde died and was buried at dawn. After Mami Yetunde was buried, Adeni returned to the old mirror for the first time in years. She uncovered it. The glass did not reflect her face, it reflected an empty and silent frozen village. Then slowly a figure formed inside the mirror. It was her, older, not trapped, waiting. A voice echoed from nowhere and everywhere, you have learned balance, you have learned mercy, you have learned restraint. The reflection stepped closer to the glass. Now it is time. Adeni stumbled back, heart pounding. Time for what? The mirror darkened. And for the first time in her life, Adeni understood the warning completely. She had never been avoiding the mirror to protect herself, she had been avoiding it to delay her inheritance. That evening, the villagers noticed something strange. The mirror in the abandoned house by the river was covered, as always, but Adeni, no one could find her, and if you listen closely, when moonlight hits still water just right, some say the river reflects a woman who watches. Without blinking, at first, the villagers believed Adeni had traveled. Some said she went to stay with distant relatives beyond Ibadan. But days turned into weeks, and weeks into seasons. Adeni never returned, stranger things followed, mirrors began to crack without warning. Water refused to reflect faces properly. Children complained that their reflections blinked when they didn't. Elders stopped keeping polished metal in their homes after Adeni vanished. The village learned how to live without answers. Life continued, harvest came and went, children grew, elders passed. Yet something had shifted. Lies were harder to tell. Conflicts ended before they turned violent. People began confessing things they had hidden for years, sometimes without knowing why. They blamed the air, they blamed the river, they blamed fate, but none of them said Adeni's name, until the night she returned. It was during the dry season, when the moon hung low and the air felt heavy with memory. A woman walked into the village from the river path. Her steps were slow, barefoot, familiar. At first, no one recognized her. She had Adeni's face, but not her innocence. Her eyes were deeper, steadier, as though they had watched time itself pass. She went straight to her mother's old house. By morning, the village was awake with whispers, Adeni is back. She hasn't aged. She looks at people like she already knows. Adeni spoke little. When she did, her words landed with precision. People found themselves telling her truths they had never planned to say. Old grudges dissolved after a single conversation with her. Some people avoided her completely, unable to stand the weight of her gaze, yet she harmed no one, she simply revealed enough. Those who lived honestly felt lighter around her. Those who thrived on deceit felt exposed, even without accusation, and the mirrors, they stopped misbehaving. Water reflected faces clearly again. Polished metal stayed still. It was as if something restless had finally settled. One evening, Adeni stood alone in her mother's house. Facing the covered mirror, she uncovered it. For the first time, the mirror showed her exactly as she was, and behind her, nothing else, no shadows, no watchers. She touched the glass and whispered, I understand now. The mirror dimmed. Adeni was no longer bound to it, she had become what it once needed. From that day on, Adeni lived among the people, not above them, not apart. She married, she aged, but sometimes, when the river was too still, or when moonlight struck glass just right, people swore they saw Adeni pause just for a moment as if listening to something only she could hear. They never asked her about mirrors, because some truths do not need reflections, some truths walk among us, barefoot, carrying wisdom quietly, and Adeni, she did not escape the mirror, she outgrew it.